Yo, what is good? It's Yizzy on the mic. We're gonna go over the Katakuri deck profile that I used at the store championship and how to play it. I chose this deck just because it was more simplified. I like to play every deck just so I get a good feel of how it goes well into the meta, and I'm happy with this. So let's get it going. First up, for searchers for Charlotte Pudding. It's the searches for a deck, searches for all your key components in the deck and how it is ran. Searches the Peril Sparrows. It can search the Smoothies, Thunderbolts, your 2Ks, your big boss monsters. So there we go. Next up, Peril Sparrow. Amazing card to play on curve, 3 for 5, and you get a search out of it. If it on KO, look at the top three, looking for again your key components in your deck. Next up, we have 4 Sanjis on trigger. It's a blocker, and you can trash a card and play this card on the field. I notice you need kind of trigger. The way this deck is played is you trigger a lot of stuff from your life, such as the smoothie, such as the Sanji, trying to push for game at the end. Smoothie can grab a card from your life and gives it a 2,000 buff, and it can put you in range for your 200 million volts. Because a lot of people are now it's like, oh, I'm not gonna attack yellow right now because it's gonna activate the 200 million volts of Maru, and we'll go over that once I get there. I go 3 Gadatsus, just because a lot of people. I don't think this is like a very important card in the deck. I want to put it down to 2. No, just because people can play around it, and it's nice to like kind of not value it when your opponent values that card more. Like, oh, they can play Gadatsu, but it's really not that good. I may go down to 2. Maybe bump Shiratoshi to 3, or play Buzz Cut Mochi, but we'll talk about that later. Next up, we have our 2Ks. I run 12 2Ks. Beige, possibly the best trigger in the game. On trigger, you can up to one of your opponent's characters or leaders cannot attack during this turn. An amazing trigger. And if you look at my store championship rounds where I made it to the finals, I would play this maybe on 3, and your opponent's like, what's going to happen? You can always put this back in your life with Katakuri. So trying to plan out your next turns. Amande, I never play her. She's just a 2K. Satori, another character that I was telling you off of life. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 characters that can come off of life. It kind of evens the odds just because like this deck is so linear and you basically play off your triggers. And he serves as a 2 card purchase. He's also a 2K counter, as you can see on the side. This side, he's also a 2K counter. Let's go over the big boss monsters. So we're running 4 Linlins, 8 Linlins, and 2 Katakuris with 2 Shirahoshis. Shirahoshi's just sometimes when you don't have those cards and you just need a filter, Shirahoshi's a very good mid game character, just kind of like Gadatsu. I feel like I was lacking a lot of mid game, and it didn't feel good. But Shirahoshi gets you there. You can play her on curve or on 6 stun, and then play Katakuri, put her back into your life, and you just keep living. 7 Mom in this format is just so good, especially going first too. They choose to give up their life, and more than likely they'll give you your life, and then it kind of gets you to the next game or next round just to play your 10 drops. So let's go over to the events in this deck. I run 4 Thunderbolts and 4 2,200,000. I'm just gonna call it Maru. The thunder thing. The reason I play Smoothie in this meta is just because, like I said, people like to keep you. There's a restriction, so up to one of your leader or characters gains 3,000 power for only 2 Dawn, which is amazing. But you have to have 1 or less life, and then you can rest a 4 cost. People like to keep you at 2, knowing that they could probably go for lethal next turn. And cards like Smoothie will get you there, and cards like Thunderbolt will get you there. So if you see in my final or my semifinal game, I Thunderbolt 2 blockers and then Amaru the 3rd blocker, and it activated my Amaru trigger. I was playing 1 Cracker, and I do like it in a mirror, but I'm just gonna hope I don't run into like a Catamir or something like that. And I really like Smoothie better. I may tech in 1 Katakuri, but sometimes with decks like this, it's like why play one of. Um, I've been trying Buzz Cut Mochi because that on trigger, I think you can play any of your trigger cards. So if I want to like kind of up that mid game a little more and get kind of big and have them kind of clear my board, keep my life healthy, and start dropping bombs, seems like a good strategy as well. So that needs to be tested more. So I probably cut Gadatsu and maybe like this package down here, but this package down here goes so well into Enel. So and I feel like there's going to be a lot of Enels in this. So I kind of like these ratios. I did pretty well in it. I wouldn't say it's brain dead, but it's like probably the most brain dead deck out of all the decks in a format. So if you're a beginner or if you want to like go to your locals and dominate, this is probably the deck to bring. I probably didn't cover a lot of things, just the main things of how to play this deck. I will say sometimes if you're running out of counters, just keep some of those cards in your hand, like a Satori. If they have 2 life and you have like 4 cards in hand and you know you're slamming down Lin Lin, sometimes it's okay to keep a Satori. You don't always have to play your characters, or like Pero or like Sanji. You would most likely play Sanji, but if it's going to get you to that next turn, I will always just not trigger it. Like if you need that 1K, instead of being at 1 life next turn, you'll be at 2 life just because you know their last swing's a 5. Just go and keep it in hand, counter 1, and drop the Lin Lin. It's really rare that you wouldn't trigger, but in that case, just make sure you do the math on that end. Other than that, yeah, this is a fun deck to play, so y'all should try it out. Other than that, join the Discord. It's a small Discord, but you know, we're growing. We're gonna have fun in there. So it's in the link if y'all want to join that. And other than that, I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you later. Peace.